Hi, I'm Graham and this is 5-Minute Photography. Today we're going to talk about shutter speed. What is shutter speed and how can you use it to improve your photography? Before I start, take a second to subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up, and also head to my website where you can get my free ebook and intro to DSLR cheat sheet. Alright, let's talk photography. The shutter is like a door or a pair of curtains that sits in front of the sensor inside the camera body. Instead of moving sideways like a pair of curtains in your house, the shutter moves up and down. When the first part of the curtain opens, it exposes the sensor to light, and then the second part of the curtain closes over like that. The shutter, along with the aperture, control how much light can enter the camera. We talk about shutter speed in seconds or fractions of seconds. The longer the shutter is open for, the more light can enter the camera. The really fun thing about shutter speed is that it controls how movement is captured in your photograph. A fast shutter speed will freeze movement, will freeze an instant of time, so anything that's happening in that moment will appear fixed in your photograph. Whereas a long shutter speed or a slow shutter speed will allow movement to capture as a blur. So if your shutter speed is longer and something is moving through your image, instead of being frozen in time, that moving object will record as a blur. If you want to experiment with shutter speed, there's loads of things you can do at home. Find a moving object around your house, set up your camera on your tripod. If you set the camera to shutter priority and the ISO to auto, now you can photograph that moving object starting at say 1,000th of a second and then cycle through all the different range of shutter speeds one by one and take a picture as you go. That's a really fun way to experiment with shutter speed, and I recommend you try that, especially if you're new to photography. In practice, you can use a fast shutter speed to photograph wildlife, sport, your kids running in the park, wave crashing in against some rocks, motorsport, anything that's fast moving. When it comes to slow shutter speeds, we're talking about things like waterfalls, traffic trails, firework displays, light painting, seascapes where you've got the waves washing in and out. The possibilities are really endless with long exposures. You can also use a neutral density filter, which allows you to really elongate the shutter speed into minutes. That's a really good fun thing, and we'll talk about that in another video. So again, to experiment with this, set your camera on a tripod, find a moving subject, use the camera in shutter priority mode. In shutter priority, you tell the camera the shutter speed that you want to use, and the camera automatically selects the aperture to go with that. If you use auto ISO at the same time, the camera will do the aperture setting and the ISO setting at the same time automatically in the background to give you the shutter speed that you want for the subject you're looking at in that moment. It just makes it so much easier for you to experiment with going through the whole range of shutter speeds and not having to stop and start and change other settings as you go. And then you just photograph a moving object at different shutter speeds, taking a photograph as you go, and just watch and see, and it'll really help you understand how the shutter speed affects how movement is captured. So in summary, the shutter is inside the camera body. It sits just in front of the sensor. It allows light to come into the camera. A longer shutter speed is more light. Faster shutter speed allows less light to come in the camera. Shutter speed affects how motion is captured. A fast shutter speed freezes movement, a slow shutter speed allows movement to record as a blur. Shutter speed works alongside aperture and ISO to control exposure, or how much light is in your photograph. We'll talk about that in another video. Overall, shutter speed is just a brilliant, fun thing to experiment with. It gives you endless creative possibilities. Okay, that's all for now. I hope you took something away from that video. Don't forget to subscribe, give it the thumbs up. Head to the website to get the free ebook and intro to DSLR cheat sheet. Enjoy your photography, stay safe, I'll see you out there.